This is Friday homework. It's the second linear assessment that those of you that haven't passed the linear assessment are practicing at home. Remember, don't copy this. Don't copy this. I know for a fact some of you did last week. Don't copy this. Do it on your own and then watch the video to check yourself. You're not going to learn if you don't do it on your own. And the goal is for you to pass the linear assessment. Secondly, remember, if you're ready, you can ask me to take the test next week if you're ready. And 2 people have already taken, they did that this week. They took the linear assessment. They passed the linear assessment. They don't have Friday homework anymore. So the harder you work, the quicker you'll be over this. Now, if you haven't already done the sheet, turn the video off and do it. Whenever I see a table, I want to try and put in carets because I want to try and see if it's linear. When I see this constant rate of change here, I know it's linear. Okay, if you didn't put your carets in, put them in. Okay. Now it says to graph the data. So the X is hours and the Y is S sweaters. I counted by ones here. I'm numbering by twos, but I'm actually counting by ones. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It just makes it look a little neater. And over here I'm counting and numbering by threes. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, and 36. So now I have to go over 0 and up 10, it's about there, over 2 and up 14, that's about here, over 4 and up 18, that's about here, it should be right on the intersection there, over 6 and up 22, over 8 and up 26, over 10 and up 30, and then the last one over 12 and up 34. Okay, I'm going to connect these. I'm putting in that best fit line. If you want, you can draw your slope triangle, but you don't have to. If you did do your slope triangle, and I'll go ahead and put an example in here. Let's say I did it between 18 and this one here that was 10. Well, not a very good slope triangle, was it? Then I know that from this 10 right here to this 18 is a change of 8 on the Y, and I know that on the X it's a change of 4 because this is 0 and this is 4. So I now can do 8 divided by 4 is equal to 2. My slope, my constant rate of change for this situation is 2. Okay? Now it says write an equation that shows the relationship between weeks, hours, H, and number of sweaters, S. And the word weeks should not be there. Sorry about that. It should say between hours, H, and number of sweaters, S. Okay, well, S, number of sweaters, is equal to 2 times the hour plus 10. The 2 is my slope, my M, and it came from change in Y, 4, divided by change in X, 2. My y-intercept is 10. If you look at the table, wherever x is 0, the y value that matches with that is your y-intercept, 10. And what is the slope of your equation? Well, we already talked about it up here. If you do change in y divided by change in x, you get 2. Notice how I get the same answer when I do it on my graph. My change in y, 8, by change in x, 4, still gets me 2. Alright, let's look at the next question, number 4. What does the slope mean in terms of the number of sweaters sold? Well, it means that for every 1 hour, you always need these words for every one. Some people like to write it per one, but it is always for every one. This always has to be simplified, and so there's always a 1 under here if you want to think of it that way. 2, that's the slope, sweaters are sold. So if you think about it, it starts with for every 1, and then here's my x variable. Look at your graph. Hours is on the X. And so hours goes after the words for every one. And then you put your slope, and then now you've got your Y, which was sweaters, are sold. For every 1 hour, 2 sweaters are sold. What is the y-intercept of your equation? Well, we talked about that. Where x was 0, the y was 10, so it's 10. What does the y-intercept mean in terms of the number of sweaters sold? It means that at 0 hours, 10 sweaters had already been sold. I don't know how. It's weird, but at 0 hours, 10 sweaters had already been sold. Maybe there was some kind of a special. I don't know. But at 0 hours, 10 sweaters. Use the equation to show how many sweaters will have been sold after 10 hours. Well, the 10 is hours, and it goes in the hour spot in the equation. And so 2 times 10, 20, plus 10, 30. Last question. Use the equation to show how many hours it will take Fiona to sell 74 sweaters. The 74 represents sweaters. Therefore, it goes in the S spot in the equation. Once you do that, you're trying to get the H by itself. Subtract 10 here, subtract 10 here. 2H is equal to 64. You're trying to get rid of this times 2 here. So you divide by 2, divide by 2. H is 32. If you had a lot of difficulties with this and you had to change answers, even a few of them, you really need to go over that and over it and over it. Say it out loud to yourself. Explain it to your mom. Explain it to a sibling. Explain it to a friend. The more you make yourself say it and practice it, the more you'll get this done, and you won't have to keep doing Friday homework. Have a great weekend.